Hello, and welcome to the Acting Notes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things acting, from tips and tricks to business information. I'm your host, Justin Powell, and today is a super awesome episode, guys. I sit down with director Gil Junger. Director, writer, producer. Gil Junger is a prolific powerhouse of creativity. Perhaps best known for his feature debut, 10 Things I Hate About You, which catapulted the careers of Julia Stiles, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Heath Ledger. His movie credits include Black Knight, starring Martin Lawrence, If Only, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Tom Wilkinson, and most recently, Think Like a Dog, starring Josh Duhamel and Megan Fox. As well as his work and features, Gil has directed over 250 episodes of TV and 4 television movies. He received Emmy and DGA Award nominations for his work on the transformative Coming Out episode of Ellen, starring Ellen DeGeneres. Drawing on his vast entertainment experience, Gil formed the Breakthrough Company to revolutionize the industry's approach to nurturing new talent. His method helps actors learn to disregard their self-limiting beliefs and trust their authentic voice to create a totally unique and authentic audition. He's coming up on the podcast shortly, but to learn more about his e-course, head to the Breakthrough website. So without further ado, let's get to Gil.
Yeah, here we are, everybody, here with Gil Junger. So excited to have you on the podcast, man. I was tickled pink when you reached out, and
Wow.
just happy you're here.
Oh, that's so sweet.
How you doing today?
I'm just happy to hear your voice. Jesus Christ, that voice.
Hey, it's completely fake. It's my voice.
I know, but still.
Pitched.
Oh, I know it's fake. I know you ever talk like this, but I'm digging it anyway.
Thanks. Well, yeah, like I said, so thankful to have you on the podcast. I have a lot of questions that I'd love to ask you, but I know first I wanted to check out. You had a video that you wanted to share that I'd be really interested to see.
Yeah, I put together a video, and it's partially a promo for one of the courses I sell, but the reason I wanted to show it to you and your viewers is I think it crystallizes in 5 minutes kind of what I'm about, why I believe why I'm offering something quite different than any of the acting teachers I've heard of. And I think you'll appreciate it. And I think it could also be a good springboard for 2 things. 1, for you to ask me questions, and 2, for all of your listeners to never want to work with me again.
Perfect. That's the goal of every guest.
No. All I want to do is upset people. That's kind of what I do.
Let's alienate them.
Yeah. Because because I don't like actors. You want me to go ahead and just play?
Yeah, let's play it.
Oh, great. Let me call it up. First I have to share my screen. Let me just play this, and then we'll take it from there. But we'll talk about letting go afterwards, because I got some ideas.
Alrighty.
How did that feel?
It felt awesome. My heart started beating really fast. I was like,
That's so
I've
cool.
never had that before.
Everything just came alive so much more.
It really unlocks something, Gil.
Too easy. I can't buy it.
God, I love what you just did. You simplified it. You freaking took it apart. It was awesome.
I love the note of what is the most influential sentence in a scene.
I think that's the value of what you're bringing as directing and not an acting coach, acting teacher. Is you know how to communicate what you're trying to get from people emotionally. As an actor, I get it.
I want to share with you my most effective techniques to help you transform an ordinary audition into an authentic, emotionally resonant performance. It'll shorten your rehearsal time. It will reduce your anxiety while increasing your confidence. That was so good, guys. I knew you guys would read well together. That was really good.
It's not important. You're not important.
Woo!
Get used to it.
Mary, how did the difference feel to you?
Night and day.
Did you feel connected to him? Did you feel the anger was genuine?
Yeah.
It certainly seemed it. Acting teachers and acting coaches that say, if you're reading for CSI Miami, you should watch 15 episodes of CSI Miami so you understand the tone of the show. Wow, is that bad advice? Shout every line. Allow yourself to be unrestrained. Don't let the emotion of the scene dictate the cadence of the scene. Get yourself a black magic marker. Cross off all of the stage directions. Cross off all punctuation. Look at the parentheticals. Cross those off. Why? Because those things that everyone follows is the main reason you guys sound the same. So try to get yourself out of the trap that drama means slow. It doesn't. If it feels a little fast, it isn't.
Come on. Do you feel better? Did you not hear a fucking thing I said? Because I didn't put it in words where you sounded sweet, where I sugarcoated everything you fucking done to me, where you can understand and you can fix the fucking situation. That's where you can fucking hear me. That's what I fucking tell the truth. You don't listen. No.
Oh.
You are a part of me. So when you look in the mirror, you'll see me.
This moment for you was a massive breakthrough for your career. Whatever that feeling is that allowed you to do that, don't ever forget that, Kara. And Kara, dear Lord. I know, dear Lord. I'm quitting right now. Fuck this. All of them have a palpable internal energy that makes their work compelling. Those eyes that saw something no kid should ever have to see. Those eyes looked at me. Looked into me. Through me. This whole run from here to here, the cadence has to be fast. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong.
We didn't make out.
Excuse me? That wasn't just my tongue in my mouth.
You know what? It was a huge mistake. It's done. It's over. Let's not talk about it again.
Fine with me.
You didn't tell anyone, did you?
No.
No one?
No one.
How many people?
3.
3?
God! I'm sorry!
And then she asked us if we wanted ice cream. She got the keys and left to go get some, and she drove out here to this bridge where we are right now. And she stopped her car in the middle of the road. And she climbed out over the railing. And she let go.
Debussy, Mozart, Miles Davis all talked about the importance of the space between the notes. The same holds true for acting. There is tremendous power in pause. I hear if you drive cars on a racetrack, you'll become a better actor. Isn't it time for the world to recognize your talents? If you want to learn what a director is looking for in an audition, shouldn't you learn it from a director?
Okay.
That was lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Really riveting performances.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I got some people in my, I do workshop. Well, we'll talk about all of it, but I have this 3-step program, whatever, and it feels silly to say, but the first 2 steps are these e-courses. There's 2 e-courses, and then I do workshops. And there are only 8 actors. It's me and 8 actors for a month. And, once a week, 3.5 hours a week for a month. But what I do is, at least from what I've been told, is quite different than any of the other workshops these actors have ever taken. And I've had over 1,000 actors go through it. And they all say the same thing. Because what am I doing in my workshops? All I'm doing is running scenes. No theory, no analysis, no substitutions, no snapshots. I'm just running scenes. Justin, I run scenes with the actors just like I would with you when the crew is there and we're running it for the last time to get you fired up and get ready to go. And then I give notes. And I'm very decisive, and I do it. I literally treat all of those people just like I would if I'm on set with Heath Ledger or anybody, right? Yeah. Because I want them to get the actual experience of what it's like to work with a director, as opposed to what it's like to work with an acting coach or an acting teacher. It's very different. And that is, that's the biggest takeaway that I've gotten over these last 2 years is they've never experienced anything like it. Not because I'm so great or any of that crap, which of course I am. I'm kidding.
I was going to say it.
But I am, the truth of the matter is, and I know people are going to get angry with me, and I'll say it anyway. The majority of the people that are teaching actors, and the thousands of them, they're either actors themselves, right? Or they're acting coaches, acting teachers, or in the last 10 years, casting directors have kind of jumped onto the bandwagon and charging enormous sums to do a workshop, or a showcase. We know why they're doing that. Yeah. Because actors believe, I'll get in front of so-and-so and maybe they'll see me and maybe they'll like me, maybe they'll remember me. No, that's not how it works. I actually, I love a great casting director. Come on. That skill, when they're amazing, I mean, look at the cast I found for 10 Things.
Oh my gosh.
All unknowns. All unknowns.
Such good casting.
Yeah, well, from her and from me. But so anyway, all of those people that teach, and the schools are expensive, man. Some of these, some private, it's just expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Years of acting classes, right? And what are they teaching in general? They're teaching what a director is looking for. How would they know? No, I'm not trying to be flip.
No, I know, but that's
I'm not trying to be flip.
Point. Yeah.
How would they know? It's like, Justin, if you were going to design a house, would you hire an interior decorator or would you hire an architect?
Of course, yeah, the architect.
Yeah, no, of course. And it's one of the reasons I started doing this. I started doing this 2 years ago because, a ton of actors have asked me over the years, and I'll be very honest, my ego got involved, and my ego thought, I don't want to be a fucking acting teacher. It's like they're going to think, what happened to Gil's career or whatever, is he done, whatever. And that was just my ego. It was all ego. And then I've had enough close friends that are actors and said, Gil, you can actually deliver a service to these people because you know so much. Because I've been at it forever. I'm 107, by the way. I use it.
Don't look a day over 106.
Thank you. I knew you'd get me. So, and then I tell you, I thought it was going to be a couple months. I'll do a couple work, and the very first workshop, people were crying. Because why? Because. All right, let me take a step back. And then you fire away.
All right.
My mission in life, and I know this sounds, it doesn't mean to sound noble, it happens to be true, okay? My mission in life is is to inspire as many creatives, specifically actors, as I possibly can all over the world to disregard their self-limiting beliefs so they can truly express their creative genius. Now, why do I think I'm an authority on this? Because I have the same brain you do, Justin. I'm smart, I'm creative, and I've been flooded with insecure feelings, with low self-esteem, with imposter syndrome my entire life. Okay. Now, what I have learned in these last probably 7 or 8 years is that the creative brain, and listen to this, I think you'll appreciate this, or maybe you already know it, but if not, anyway, the creative brain, I want you to hear this, is actually wired differently than a neurotypical brain. Medically, wired differently. Now dig this. Okay, interesting right off the bat, right? No, I'm fascinated by this. Okay, so just a couple quick examples, because I don't want to get lost in the weeds of medical jargon, and nor am I competent.
That's definitely not this podcast.
No, I know, but we're all actors.
Yeah.
And we all have the same brain that I have somewhat suffered from and benefited from my entire life. Okay? So, just right off the bat, how many times, Justin, maybe not you, you seem so fucking calm, but how many times, I don't know, I mean, I don't know you, but how many, he's chopping cocaine right under this. It's a touch.
No, I'm a professional. I do that before the podcast.
Oh, wow, you are a pro. I'm impressed.
Yeah, come on.
You're funny. Got it, you charming. Okay, fine. Sorry. Okay, if you ask someone with a neurotypical brain, like the 99.9% of people that aren't fucking actors, right? Or creative artists, let's put it that way. If you ask them a question, like whatever the question is, right? What happens if you're doing an EKG or I think they're called PET scans, and there's also kinds of other scans. When you ask a neurotypical person a question, what happens is 2 areas in the brain light up. Okay, you know, electrocephalocardiogram. I don't know what they're called, but anyway, 2 areas of the brain specifically light up. The old thinking, and it is old thinking, is there's a left and a right brain. There's a math brain and there's a creative.
Yeah.
No, that's not the truth. Anyway, 2 distinct areas light up. I can't believe we're talking about this in the brain. But dig this. If you ask the same question, this is all medically proven. I've done tons of research on this. If you ask you, Justin, the same question, 3 areas of the brain light up. A distinct 3rd area of the brain lights up. What does that basically mean to an actor? You are constantly flooded with hundreds of times more information than someone with a neurotypical brain. The best way I can explain it is, you remember The Matrix?
Of course.
Okay, fine. So, if you and I are talking on a street, on Times Square, you and me, in New York, I think you'll be buying the dinner. But let's just say, no. So we're talking, that's cute. Yeah, why not? As long as you'll fucking hire me.
McDonald's, dollar menu, you cool with that?
Yeah, sure, that's fine. I like a hot dog, actually. Those New York hot dogs kill me. They slay me. But anyway, we're talking on Times Square, you and me. And I'm able to focus on you, and you're able to focus on me. Now, if we're neurotypical, what happens is the neurotypical brain has a filter, okay, which we don't have. It's a gene. It's called latency something, blah, blah, blah. And what that filter does, the filter knows, like our brain knows where to focus, where our eyes want to focus, and the focus is there. The filter in a neurotypical brain, just like the visual input, it knows what we want to concentrate on, and it takes out all the other noise. So I could be in the sidewalk in Times Square, and yes, I mean noise figuratively and literally. But all of a sudden, I don't hear the taxi, I don't hear the garbage truck backing up, I don't hear some guy yelling about something 2 blocks away, I don't hear just the noise, the fan from the store right there, air conditioning, whatever. Because we have, neurotypical brains have a filter so that I can just focus on Justin. Okay. Now, our brain, that filter doesn't work. It's actually a gene, but it doesn't work. So wait. So what happens is, if you say to a neurotypical guy, and I'm holding up a glass of water, describe the glass of water. They're going to say it's a glass, it's half full, and it's pretty clear water. Hypothetically, you and I are going to say, "Oh, it's a nice glass. I like the reflections inside the glass and the way the light hits it. It's kind of cool. It refracts and there's a whole feeling of it because we're artists and we don't have a fucking filter and we're bombarded by." I didn't do the photograph thing. I'm sorry. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. I'm actually going to London in 2 weeks to discuss this.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm doing a world speaking tour called Survive.
Yeah, I have some questions about that.
Okay, great, guy. Okay. So the way I can describe our overload of information is this. You and I, go back to, you're talking to me, right? In New York on Times Square. If you were if you were a camera, okay? Let's just say your information was a camera. You would probably have a wide shot of me and maybe a close-up of me. Because that's what you're focused on. Because your filter's kicked in. If you are you, the way I can the metaphor is that it would be like in the Matrix, you'd have 100 different cameras from all different angles filling your brain with visual information. That is what it's like to be a creative individual. It's not just visual information, it's everything, dude. Yeah. Everything. All your senses are constantly filled with data. Now, have you ever said, and this is where I was earlier, have you ever said, God, I couldn't fall asleep last night, I couldn't turn my fucking brain off?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Look at me. That's why.
Yeah. No, there's so much of, this is something that happens to me all the time too. Just in parties where I get so overwhelmed by all the noise that's happening around me.
It's the reason.
Yeah.
No, this is the reason, because you're constantly, me too, and all of, hopefully these actors are listening, or any artist, or anyone that's intelligent and creative, okay? They're bombarded with information all the time, right? That's why I've always had trouble going to sleep, because I can't turn the fucking brain off. But now I know why, because I don't have the filter, and I'm being downloaded way more information than a normal person.
Yeah. Well, what do you do with that? I mean, you've talked about
that's a beautiful question.
Creating brain.
Yeah. No, very good question. Now, here's the deal. Oh, I hope a lot of people are hearing this because I'm so excited. I'm excited to share it. But from all of the articles I've read and the research I've done, because I always had a feeling that not only there was something different about me, but even in my 20s when I was just starting my career, which was back in 1817, I can't believe I've been at this game for 48 years already. Like, what? How old am I?
That's
it's weird.
Though.
It's
That's
weird.
The kind of career I think so many of my listeners we want to build things like that.
Oh, I'm so blessed. But this will help you. But anyway, no, seriously, I have information that can help all of you enjoy your career and your life so much more. Yes. Because once I help you let go of your self-limiting thoughts, you have no idea, not only Justin, I know you're a good actor, but how much of a better actor you're going to be and how much more content you are going to be as a human being.
Well, don't tease us. Come on, let us know. What's the stuff?
No. So, well, anyway, but going back to all the noise and the three, you got the three, right? And it's constant information. That is exactly the combination where original, brilliant thinking comes from. If you don't have all that noise and that lack of a filter, you're never going to be Elon Musk. You're never going to say, I'm going to design a better spaceship than NASA. You know, I'm going to come up with electric cars. I don't give a fuck how hard they say it is. I can do it. It's or phenomenal performances or Rembrandt.
Yeah.
They all have that same noise, but somehow they've been able to tap into. That's the gift of the creative brain. That's the big gift that so few people, like when you are creating, what are your hobbies what are your creative hobbies outside of acting?
I mean, I do some writing, I do some directing as well.
Oh, okay, fine.
Music, yeah.
Oh, you do? You play music too?
Just some guitar here and there, yeah.
Well, that's impressive. Okay, let's just say writing, because I'm a writer. And don't you find that when you're writing and you're in it, kind of everything goes away?
Yeah, absolutely.
And your sense of time is like, what? I haven't eaten in 9 hours?
Yeah.
Right?
That's locked in. Yeah.
You get locked in. It's called, they call it flow. But
yeah.
That's the gift that we have as artists, because that high is both stimulating and explosive in its joy, and at the same time, unbelievably calm. That's the gift we can achieve, you know, whenever we're performing. That's also the reason, young man, that when you're done with a movie, look, I don't know you, I don't want to make so many assumptions, but when you're done, let's say you have a TV series and you're on for 3 years. Well, you're high for 3 fucking years, right? That series goes down, you don't get hired for a year, you're facing serious depression.
Yeah.
Because you long for that high. You long to feel like you have purpose. Because when we as artists create, it fills our soul. I know that sounds very LA. But
no,
it does. But it does. It fills your soul. Like, I remember as a photographer, I've been a photographer my whole life, and I can remember being in the dark room for like 8-10 hours, and now it's like 4 a.m, and I'm like, and I'd have to stop to eat because I was so hungry, and I'm like, fuck. I was like frustrated because I almost got it. I almost got the, you know, it's like, it's that wonder, it's that feeling. That's the big gift. And then, again, the noise, just take my word for it, the noise is, again, where original, brilliant thinking comes from. It comes from the confluence of all that fucking noise. Now, okay. Now, I wish I could turn a switch for you and tell you, oh, this is how you turn it off.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But, wait. But 8 years ago, this is weird. Is this weird that I'm talking about all this personal shit?
No, I'm very enthralled. I'm sure my listeners will be as well.
Oh, okay, good. Because my whole goal is to help actors love their life, and you'll hear now why. But anyway, 8 years ago, I met a spiritual therapist, a life coach. The truth is, when she told me what she did for a living, I was like, okay, bye-bye. Go to Erewhon. Don't bug me. No, I was like, please. You know, because I'm fairly traditional, East Coast. You know, if you didn't go to Harvard, that's the person I want to have help me. So I was very cynical. Very cynical. And I know it's rude, and I prejudged her horribly and guilty as charged. But that's the truth of who I was at that time. Anyway, through a series of circumstances, I ended up working with her, right? I worked with this woman for 3.5 years. Justin, I had no concept that I could actually be as comfortable as I am today. My life now, since like 7 years ago, is totally different. than what it was before. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because, my God, I'm so supercharged right now. Okay, I'm going to give you my life philosophy, but it's all about actors, and it all affects your audition. Everything I'm talking about affects your audition. I don't give a fuck who you are. You're wrong if you don't think it does. I've been at this game a long time. I've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I am this brain. So dig this. Dig this simple thing. And then I want to set all of you on the path to self-love. Okay, I know I said it. Okay, I'm a cornball. Okay, I can't even believe it. If my parents were alive, they'd be like, what'd you do with Gil? Where the fuck is Gil? Why aren't you cracking jokes? Okay, fine. Here it is. Here's my life philosophy, and I know I'm right. We're born, and we're born perfect. We're born perfect with only two desires: to love and to be loved. That is a human being at its core. Okay? We're born perfect. And then, then, before the age of 7, human beings don't have the cognitive abilities to reason. So they can't, I don't know if that's true. It's whatever you hear, see, or feel, we take in as fact. Very dangerous. So when you're a 4-year-old girl and you walk into the living room and you're so excited because you want to show your dad your new princess dress, okay? And you walk right in and you say, Dad, look, I got this new princess dress. Trying to change the lighting for you a little bit here. Where's the backlight? Where's the backlight? Makeup! Oh, sorry.
A backlighting.
Get the backlighting. Gil's getting pissed again. Okay. So during those first 6.5 years of life, everything we absorb, we take in as fact. You're a 4-year-old girl, you walk in, you're so excited, mommy got you dressed, and you run in the living room and you say, Daddy, I'm a princess, right? And the dad says, God forbid, but I'm sure it happens all the time. Oh, honey, I think it's too small for you because you look a little chunky in that. That girl's fucked. For life. Seriously. This is how it works. Body dysmorphia. She's always going to think she has a weight problem. It's that simple. We're that sensitive because we have this crazy brain that is way more sensitive. It's a blessing and a curse. Okay, there's more. So let's say your parents always make you feel like you're stupid, or they're condescending, or they make you feel like you're a nuisance. You're going to feel, as an adult, that you're a nuisance. Okay, I'm only going to share I'll share a couple things about me and how they've affected me, even when I was one of the top sitcom directors in the world, and how it affected me. Okay, dig this. So I have an older brother, and all I remember hearing about my older brother, or just a lot of the time, oh my God, Gil, your brother he's like a genius. He's so smart and he's so handsome. He could be a model. No, all the time. I heard how smart my brother was with no, and you too, or, and just like you. The sentence ended, your brother is so, now, granted, my brother is kind of brilliant. Okay? He is.
Yeah.
And good for him. But how did that one thing affect me as a professional? I'll tell you how it affected me. When I was 38 years old, I was on top of the fucking world in my craft. I was one of the top 10 sitcom directors in the world, right? In the world. I mean, networks were literally throwing monopoly money at me. No, it was like, I used to say to CAA, no, it's enough.
Yeah.
No, don't bargain, the deal will go away. No. Because it was such crazy money back then. Don't hate me. So don't worry, people. Don't hate me because I've been divorced twice. I don't have any of it anyway. It's kind of the truth. Oh well, starting again. Okay, but. Okay, but on the outside, beloved, or at least so people made it look like, a lot of friends, owned a few Ferraris, dating supermodels. I was a multi-millionaire. And I would always hear from the president, even when I would shoot a pilot, the president of the network would hug me. Oh my God, Gil, you don't even have to wait to the upfronts. You're on the air. You're on the schedule. Wow. Oh yeah, like that. That was also the same year, my new friend, that I tried to take my own life. Why? Because I thought I was a fraud. Because I knew I wasn't smart. So I believed, because it was the messaging. Now, okay, I believe this is literally the fear I had, even though I knew I was very good at what I did, and I loved what I do. I love actors, and I love what I do for a living. Today, now, I just got hired for another film to write and direct. I couldn't be more excited. I can't fucking believe how lucky I am, right? I love my gig. Anyway, but in my mind, the fear that I talk about imposter syndrome, the fear that I had was that this was going to happen. And this would be like a nightmare. It could be in the morning before going to work in the shower. I would have this thought. President X of some network, right? President of ABC, going to come up to me. This is literally the scenario that I thought at least once every 10 days on the going to work. Gil, hey, man, great job on the pilot. Oh, thanks. Boy, the actors love you. Oh, that makes me feel so great. It really does. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just beautifully done, and it's just amazing work, and you're on the schedule. I can't thank you enough. But, Gil, we've realized that all you are is charming and funny and seem to be able to make people like you. But beneath that, there's really not much there. You're really not that smart, and we're going to have to let you go. That is what I used to feel, dude, when I was killing it. Okay? Yeah. No, I'm not saying, oh, poor me. I'm just trying to draw a very direct line between the story that we create about ourselves and how we behave as adults, and yes, how you, Justin, audition. Okay, I'm going to give you, yep, oh yeah, you should work with me. I'm not even joking.
Oh, I'm going.
Dude, you're going to be so surprised.
I'm gonna, don't worry.
I'm not trying to get a customer. I'm just saying.
But you have already.
You have so much skill. I mean, I know who you are as an actor.
Thank you.
And I shouldn't have said that. That sounds arrogant. And anyway, okay, so another message for me, and I know everyone out there or everyone listening has the story, but they're not aware of the story because it's been their truth their whole life. Okay, another thing for me, when I was little, 8, 9, 10, my mother used to say to me, if you can believe it, and I love my mom, and she's not here, and whatever. So she would say to me, often, Gilbert, that's what she called me. Gilbert, I love you, sweetheart. But honey, no woman is ever going to stay with you unless you change. Right. Well, honey, you're just too much energy, too much busyness, too much laughing, too much entertaining. You're just too much energy, and it's exhausting. So what I want you to try to do, sweetheart, if you can believe this, learn to be less Gil.
Less.
Verbatim.
Oh my God.
Verbatim. Now, how has that affected me? Well, up until 8 years ago, and I'm 69. So up until I was 61, every serious relationship I had with a woman, every single one, I'm looking back and reflecting, and now I can see it all clearly. But Skittles, relax, don't bark. Yeah. My son's coming home, and he's the welcoming party. Anyway, but every single relationship I've had, except for starting 8 years ago, I always kind of had one foot out. Why? Why, Justin? Because I believed in my soul. It wasn't a conscious thought. I believed in my soul that that woman will tire of me and eventually leave me. I really did. So I was protecting myself in every relationship I had for my first 61 years because I was trying to mitigate the pain of when they're going to leave. Right? So come on. You love it, if you invest less in love, you pay less of a price.
Yeah.
Right? And I know a lot of people have this thing. They might not know where it comes from. And I certainly didn't know about it before I worked with my coach 8 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, no wonder. No wonder. Okay, so fine. So those are just two, hey, Skittles, hey, Ben. Skittles didn't bark. So those are just two examples of... So anyway, so what happens is we create this story, right? Remember you were perfect, two desires? Yeah. And life gets its hands on you and it complicates the fuck out of your brain, right? It does, everybody. Yeah. Much more so for creatives because we're highly sensitive and we don't have that fucking filter.
Great.
It's genetically proven. We're way more sensitive than normal people, which allows us to access all the feelings and deliver a good performance. It also causes us a tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with pretty much the best comedians of my generation because I've done so many sitcoms. I did over 250 sitcoms. Yeah. And I'm friends with a couple unbelievable comedians, and I worked with Ellen for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't know one of my dear friends that didn't have a dark upbringing. There's no question about it. It's what creates special people, you know. But we have to pay a price for that, and that's the price. So now, what happens is that story that we subconsciously believe. We don't consciously know any of this. I just happen to know it because I'm finally towards the end, and I was lucky enough to meet someone that helped reintroduce me to me.
Right.
Unbelievable what I've been through. But so we create this story, and that story, Justin, that little Justin created before he was 7, becomes the prism through which you view your life for the rest of your life. And it affects everything you do. The way you kiss, the people you're attracted to, the people that annoy you, whether or not you really go for the top of the corporate ladder because maybe you don't think you can, right? It's all of those fears and limitations that prism is constantly throwing at you. Be careful, be careful. No, that's not for you. Slow down, don't, you're going to crash. Whatever it is, it's constant. And it absolutely impacts the way you audition.
Sure.
Okay. Because we actors, I'm saying we, but I've got the same brain.
Yeah.
Well, that's my little life theory. Okay.
I love that as a theory. And I mean, you've talked about something I saw in that video and I've seen in other interviews with you is the importance of being you as an artist. And I feel like that's maybe kind of what you're hinting at here is how do we overcome this to bring more of our authentic self to the work?
Yes. And what I have realized, I guess by nature, it's embarrassed me a little bit to say, but it's not, I guess. I take tremendous pleasure in inspiring people to see the truth of who they are because I was given a fucking gift. No, dude, I was given a gift by running into that woman who I at first was like, please, Get the fuck out of here. Like some ex-model from Colombia is going to tell me how to live my life. 5 feature films. Did you see 10 Things I Hate About You? I think I know what I'm doing. I mean, no, seriously, I hate to admit it, but that was how cynical I was. And again, through a series of circumstances, and basically what she helped me do in 3.5 years was take a look at who Gil Junger truly is beneath the story. And that was scary to do. And I'll tell you why. Because I have developed, and we all do this, a very, very complicated, sophisticated web, right, of avoiding looking at me because I thought I was a loser. That's the reason I've always been so busy. Geez, Bill, you got so many things going on. Because for me personally, I'm not saying everybody, but for me personally, when things were quiet, when I didn't have something to do, or I wasn't hanging out with someone, or I wasn't distracted by the trappings of wealth or creativity, I always knew that darkness was coming.
Yeah.
And it would knock me down, dude. Knock me down. Because I didn't think I was worth anything. Because it was all the information I took in as a little kid. I was a nuisance to my parents. I was always causing trouble. I wasn't as smart as my brother. No woman's going to stay with me. And I'm sure there's a bazillion other messages, but those were the ones. But we all have them.
Yeah.
Right? So now the gift for me and the change was so profound, like crazy, that's really, really, really what I'm doing with the Breakthrough Company. I would never put that at the front of my company because, people in the Midwest that aren't too particularly progressive are like, the fuck? Get out of here, avocado face. No, I mean, come on. Take some.
No, you're totally right. Yeah.
Take your ketamine and get the fuck out of my state. But it's what I do.
Yeah.
And I do it, and it's not only effective in my 2 e-courses, but I'm constantly giving the message that your best performance is beneath all the noise.
Good.
All the noise. Let me give you an example of a performance you're familiar with, and hopefully a lot of your viewers are. Maybe you must have seen 10 Things, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. My sister,
it's her favorite movie of all time. She wanted me to make sure I liked it.
Who said this?
My sister. It's her favorite movie of all time.
I like your sister. No, she's a very bright girl. That's so sweet. And tell her, oh, does she live in LA?
She's in Austin.
An example of a performance with no filters. No filters. Okay. 10 Things I Hate About You. Julia Stiles. 10 Things I Hate About You speech.
Yes.
Okay. She was 17. 1-7. Okay.
Jesus.
I rode the dolly. I love to be close to the actors when I'm directing. I'm a weirdo. I'm a groupie. To be honest, I'm a fucking actor groupie. No. I'm so enamored with the craft. I want to be close to it, thinking maybe some will roll over. I've done acting. I've acted. I acted with Ellen on a few episodes. Oh my God, it was the most terrifying thing on the planet. I was shaking. I was terrified. Every fear I have. Okay, but anyway, so I'm sitting on the front of the trailer. That's the dolly, sorry.
Yeah.
And the shot went across the back of the classroom and then went right up the front aisle, right up to Julia, like 3.5 feet away from her face, literally. Yeah, it was boom right there. One shot, bang, And I'm sitting on the front of the dolly. I got about halfway across and I started to make the turn and my eyes started to well up. And I'm like, holy shit. And as we're pushing and as she's building the speech, I started crying. So wait a minute. So I'm covering, no joke, I'm covering my nose with these 2 fingers. And it's a pretty good sized nose. So I have strength. I have strength. Anyway, and my mouth like this. And by the time I got close enough, I like 4 or 5 feet. God forbid I ruined the fucking take, right? I wasn't crying, dude. I was sobbing.
Truth.
Why was I sobbing? Because I was witnessing one of the most pure performances I've ever seen, and it's still true today. It's still true today, right? Because there is no way you can rehearse or think your way or substitute your way or snapshot your way or the moment before, the moment after your way into a performance like that, because there was no thought. It was pure soul.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I'm like, oh God! And I'm not joking. I'm crazy crying, and I jumped off the thing to hug her, and she ran into me and fucking hugged me, and she was shaking. She was shaking like a fucking paint mixer. And she said, I don't know where that came from. It was one of the more exciting moments in my entire career.
That's so beautiful.
Because there was no thought. And the biggest mistake actors make, all of them,
Sure.
you're in your head.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking while you're acting. Now, I'm just having a conversation with you right now, right? Would you say it's fairly engaging?
Very engaging.
Oh, no, I wasn't looking for it. I was just saying, but I can see that you're engaged too.
Yeah.
Are you thinking at all about what you're saying?
No, I'm definitely just connecting with you.
Bingo! Ding, 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 ding. So that's what I'm trying to teach. And the problem is, and this is a little blasphemous, and people will probably get angry at me. I don't care. What, are you going to fire me? But this is the truth. Luckily, I'm at a place where nothing matters to me anymore. I just do what I want. I take care of my kids, and I take my race car to the track every once in a while. I'm a very happy man. But, and periodically I'll look in the mirror and go, you're lucky. That's maybe what you could say. Yeah. But it's I know this is a bold statement, but I'm just going to say it. I believe. Now I'm just talking about auditioning. That's my gift to actors. And that is the most difficult thing to get past. You don't pass the audition, you don't get the job.
Yeah.
So in no way do I see myself as an acting teacher, because I'm not. I don't see myself as an acting coach, because I'm not, right? I see myself as a man that really wants to help as many actors as he can be able to walk into every audition with confidence and leave proud of your work, because it's achievable. It's achievable. How many times you left an audition and thought, fuck, I knew I had it better. I fucked that one thing up. I can't believe I did that. Come on.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
All the time, because you're human.
Yeah.
That's because your audition was delivered from a fear-based mindset. That's created from the prism when you were 5 years old. And what I'm teaching my actors, I don't know why I said my actors, it's weird. I'd have my dinner bill would be very expensive. What I'm trying to share is how I was able to disregard these incredible self-limiting beliefs that, as I said earlier, almost took my life at 38. And to be honest, almost did it again 10 years ago. 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I had just gotten divorced. I don't know why I'm sharing all this personal shit, but I think it's important to understand whatever you guys are feeling out there and the sadness or the self-doubt, dude, you're not alone. You're not fucking alone.
Yeah.
It's so important because, I think a lot of people look at me, especially because I teach. I mean, I lecture at colleges and shit, and I can see it. They're looking at me like, oh, it's Gil Junger. He's rich and he's got it all together. Well, I do now, but except for the money. But that's not who I am at all. Terrified.
It's so tough, and we don't always know the burdens. Like I've dealt with suicidal ideation in the past, with depression.
Oh, dude.
And we just never know with people, we never know the burdens that people are carrying.
Yeah, of course. But dude, as creatives in particular, we're all carrying a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I spoke at USC, what was it? A couple months ago. The packed to the theater and the writing school. And I spoke, I did my thing, and told a little bit about my life history. And then I said, it was 10 o'clock and it was over. It was the class released. And I said, look, I'm here for you guys. So if you want to stay after and come up, do it. It's fine. I'm here for you. I don't have anywhere to go. It's fine. So stick around if you want, and I'll answer whatever questions you have. But I officially have to say class is over.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. That was 10 o'clock. You know what time I left that room?
I'm going to guess 3 a.m.
1:15 in the morning.
Dang.
And I can honestly say at least 70% of the people, when they started to talk to me, they burst into tears. Because I told their story and they didn't know anyone else had that story. Because suicidal ideation and depression is still, today, creates shame.
Oh, yeah.
That just means you're human.
Yeah.
I mean, it created shame in me. That's why I would never tell anybody. I would never say to anyone, God, I'm really sad today. Because I'm like a loser, right? But anyway, okay. So,
I think really quickly, I just want to touch on that because I had this other similar story where I've spent years keeping it hidden. And because of that, it grows as an albatross just around your neck, guys. And it's important to share these things. If you find a coach, if you find a therapist, but what I've found is as I've started to be more open about the fact that I've had suicidal ideation in the past, that I've had nights where I was staying up because I was just thinking about, like, should I just do it tonight?
Jesus
The more
Christ.
I've shared, the more light it's become. The more I feel less shame.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, dude. Totally. Good for you. And wow, my heart's racing right now from what you just said because you're doing such a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
You're doing such a beautiful thing. Seriously, really. And one of the reasons I actually started this breakthrough company was it was during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And a few different of the big agencies called me. I don't know why. And they said, hey, would you give us an hour of your time? Yeah, for what? What is it? What is it, CAA? I'll think about it. Like, how about I'll give you 4 years, okay? For free. Okay, but anyway. So, and they said, we would love it if you would just hold a Q&A. Because they said, quote unquote, we just want to keep our actors entertained because there's nothing going on. Mm-hmm. And actors would love, and I've heard you've done Q&As before, and oh my God, yeah. So I ended up doing 4 of those. Uh-huh. And the smallest group of actors was 185, and it was 2.5 hours long. Okay? The biggest group of actors was 385, and that was 4 hours long.
Wow.
Now, but listen to this. This for me was, I wouldn't say life-changing, but huge. It made me start breakthrough.
Yeah.
Oh, this one young woman, I don't know, mid-20s, somewhere in there, who knows? She's probably 56. She's had work. So she raises her electronic hand, And I said, yeah. And she said, I have a question? Yeah, sure. And she said, when I'm in my apartment and I'm prepping, I do great. I know the beats. I know take a moment. I know when to lean in. I know when to vary so it's different colors, so it's not all the same fucking thing. And she said, and I'm just so proud of myself. But when I go to the audition, as I'm driving there, I'm fine. I can't wait to show them my stuff because I know this part. I know I'm going to get the part, right? Because I'm killing it, right? Great. And then she says, but when I walk up the steps to the building, she's like, I can feel a little bit of tightness in my chest, right? story of my life. And no, seriously. And then she said, and then I'm in the waiting room, and it's always too long. I hate when directors do that. It's rude. But, sometimes you wait 30, 40, 50 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's 12 other guys that are all better looking than you. You're like, fuck me. But seriously, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yourself against them, and oh my God, this guy was on the Netflix show, and this guy's, oh no, he was the star of something. Okay, fine. And she said, and then when they call my name, she said, as I'm about to walk through that door, I get tight, and I just feel my body just tighten up. And invariably, when I give my audition, I do okay. But I just don't have that flow that I had in my apartment when I was by myself. Because I know I just had this natural flow to it. And I believe she did. And she said, can you help me with that? I said, well, first of all, welcome to being an actor. I laughed because, come on, every artist I know has that fear, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, and I gave her my email, and I said, contact me, and I'll give you as much time as I can, because I've lived that experience and I've overcome it. I said, but for now, for today, with the 385 people here in 2 minutes, I said, the one thing I want you to recognize and accept, and then you can talk to me and we'll talk about it further, is here's the deal. I said, you're not actually walking through a door. You're actually walking into your greatest fear, that you're ordinary. Dude, Justin, I almost had tears in my eyes just then. I said it just like that. I'm just talking to actors, right? Justin, no exaggeration. At least 70 people just started crying. No, I mean crying.
I'm staring up right now, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment, I went, oh my God, I have a message I have to share. And literally 2 days later, I formed Breakthrough. Because I can tell other creatives that, here's what I want to do. I had 61 years of being version A, or 60 years of being version A. And look, I'm not saying my life is not good. I've had an incredible life. But it was also, there's a lot of periods of time, 2 times where I wanted to kill myself. 1 time I actually died in Las Vegas. No joke. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole crazy story. But, laden with the typical artist negatives. Insecurity, imposter syndrome, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of relationships. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. And so anyway, that's the gift that I want to share with the world. This has become my fucking mission.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm doing it in what I know best, is to talk to actors and tell them how to free them.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, and I don't like this, and again, people are going to yell at me, I believe that all acting classes, yes, bold statement, are fear-based learning.
It's interesting.
Because actors are fear-based. So when you're an actor and you get your sides, Justin gets his sides, and it says yelling, laughing, inquisitive, nervous, whatever, the last one.
Bashful. Yeah.
Okay, fine. You go subconsciously, oh, okay, good. Oh, thank God for that. Okay, so now I know how to play that, and I'm going to play that. You think they're clues as to what the director wants. So you're going to do
right. Yeah.
Correct. Perfect word. Mm-hmm. To do it right, because you want the job. So because you're fear-based, because you don't really believe in yourself, even though you maybe think you do. Okay, I should say most people. I shouldn't be so.
Yeah, of course.
But most people think of those stage directions and those parentheticals as what the director is looking for. So of course they deliver it, right? Let me tell you something, and hopefully a bunch of your people watch this. I'm a fairly successful director, meaning I've done a lot of work, right? 250 episodes of TV, 12 pilots, 4 movies for TV, 5 feature films. A lot of work, right?
Yeah.
I have never once walked into an audition with an idea in my mind of what I want to see. Let me repeat that.
I love that.
But let me repeat it, because it's critical for actors to understand. It takes so much pressure off. I have never once walked into an audition thinking, oh, I hope they play Jim like this, because I see Jim as this guy, and he's a cowboy, and he's gruff, but he has a softness and a sweetness to him. The fuck? I never want, you know what? I want you, Justin, to show me.
Yeah.
I want you to show me how you would perform it, because eventually, hopefully, there's going to be someone that I go, oh, wow, that's fucking awesome. I never thought of that. That's so great. That's it. And here's a tip for you guys. It's free. Your superpower, Justin, and whoever is listening, your superpower as an actor isn't your voice, isn't your hair, isn't that, funny, isn't that, you have a quirky outlook on life, isn't none of that shit. Your superpower is your life experience. That's what's most special about you, Justin. Yes, you're a craftsman. Obviously, you know the craft. You know how to deliver. You're very skilled, right, in the craft of acting. That's not going to necessarily get you a job with me, because I want to feel something.
Yeah.
I want to believe you, right? I've had plenty of times where I've had actors read for me oh gosh, I'm just envisioning the arguments I used to have with the president of ABC, because I think it was like 3 series in a row. It was the obvious choice to make. You go with John Goodman. I can say it now that the person's dead. But everyone wanted me to hire John Goodman because he's a proven entity in this particular sitcom I was going to do. And how can you not hire John Goodman? What the fuck? Are you out of your mind? And there have been times I'll have someone come in for a small part, like 3 sentences. And I go, there's something about that guy. Excuse me, could you do me a favor, Justin? Would you read the part of Tonto, whatever it is? Yeah. And then what I do is I send you away, right? Not to come back tomorrow. I want to see you in 15 minutes. I do this intentionally. Why, Justin? Why do I do that? And then they come back in, and sometimes they get the part. And they get the lead.
Yeah, because they don't have the opportunity to then pre-plan everything, right?
Ding, 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 ding. You don't have the opportunity to do what all actors do. Think. It gets in the way of an honest performance. It just does.
Absolutely.
And when I ask actors to just think, not to think, they're so much better. It's amazing. As a matter of fact, here's a great thing, and then I'll have to shut the fuck up. And please ask me. No, I apologize, but I'm needless to say, I'm passionate about this, and I'm just so glad that, because when I heard your thing about letting go, I'm like,
this is right in line.
That's like right up your alley.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from some big exec at NBC. This is 15 years ago. I don't really remember when. No, 20 years ago. Wait, no, even more, because I hadn't done 10 things yet. Wow, that's a long time ago. Okay, but I had done maybe 150 sitcoms by then, and I was pretty well respected in the sitcom world, and blah, blah. And I get a phone call. Hey, Gil, it's so-and-so from NBC. He says, are you down now? Is your show down? I said, yeah, we just went down for the season. He said, so you're free for the next 2 weeks if I have something for you? Yeah, I'm totally free. Great. I'll call you right back. He calls me back. Sorry. Comedy.
Oh, good.
I'm Sid Caesar. And anyway, so literally 2 minutes later, he calls me back and he says, so listen, I'd like you to do an episode for us of this brand new series. And it starts tomorrow. I said, oh, God, thank you. I'm flattered. That's so cool. And he said, yeah. I said, well, great. Well, just send the script and, so I can, send it. And he said, well, they're rewriting it right now. But if you go in early tomorrow, they'll have it for you. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so I start prep tomorrow? And he said, unfortunately, no. We start shooting tomorrow. Wait, you're shooting the sitcom tomorrow? He said, oh, no, this is a 1 hour. It's a drama. I had never directed a drama. No, seriously, Justin.
Yeah.
Never directed a drama. So I said, wait a minute. I said, let me get this straight. You want me to come in tomorrow without the 7 to 10 days that a director gets to prep? If you've never directed over 1 hour, you have like a week or 2 weeks to prep, right? And then you shoot. And he said, yeah, no, it's already prepped, and you basically have to jump into the schedule. I said, oh wait, what's going on? And anyway, the reason was the in-house executive producer director. Bye, Ben. They didn't like him. I don't know the guy's name. I would never say the guy's name anyway. They were just dissatisfied. And it was episode 6, brand new series, And they wanted me to come in. It's a drama, though. Who the fuck knows why? I'm sure he didn't know that I had never directed a drama. Seriously. Anyway, so he said, yeah. He said, we let him go. And it was a tough decision for us because he's also the executive producer. But he's just not getting the performances that we know this cast is capable of. So are you still up for it? And I'm like, fear. And I went, yeah, of course. I'm inside and going, I don't get to prep. I've never directed a drama, but what the fuck? It's insane what he was asking me to do. But I like a challenge. Okay, so I'm driving in. So I can read the script. I don't even know what I'm shooting.
Jesus.
No, I don't know anything. I don't even know what the show's about. Right? So I'm driving in, and yes, fear started to rise to the surface. And I think, oh man, it wasn't like I feel like I got to turn around. I was afraid I wasn't going to do a good job because I'd never directed a drama. Mm-hmm. And that fear was making me pretty uncomfortable. And then I stopped myself, luckily, and I caught it, and I went, Gil, how many scenes have you directed in your life? How many scenes? 5,000? You know how to direct a scene? Just direct a scene. Wing it. Don't think drama, comedy, and you said something about this on this podcast. You talked about the difference between a sitcom and a drama scene, and partially I disagreed with you, but I did. But I just thought to myself, a scene's a scene. If it's dramatic, it better be compelling. And if it's funny, it better be funny. It's that simple. It's that simple. Just direct a scene, Gil. Just do it. Okay, fine. So I get to set. And of course, the first scene was the entire cast. 9 people in a big living room scene. 9. And I'm like, fuck me. Because, I would have done a 2-person scene just to get get your feet wet, make the cast not hate you, that kind of shit. So anyway, I say to the AD, we're just starting in this one? Okay. I said, well, I like to read the script. I like to read the scene in the set with all the actors. So can you please call them all in? Well, they didn't even like that because I don't know why, but they didn't like that. So anyway, the actors come in and we all sit around the living room set. And I said, okay, guys, I'd love to just read it. It's the way I work. And they said, okay. So, and they said, you mean act it like on its feet or? No. I just want to hear it. And that'll help me understand what I'm going to want. And also just looking around in my mind, I can start to block it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So they read it. Oh, and by the way, I've never watched a drama in my life on television before ER. Never.
Wow.
I never watched 90210 or I'm just not a TV guy. Like I haven't watched a series in years. Literally in years, because I'm strange that way. But anyway. So, but I recognized all these people just from being TV stars. So these were like 1 hour known stars that are doing this big show supposedly for NBC. Here I am, and I'm asking them to read, right? So, okay, they read it. And Justin, I was stunned how fucking boring it was. No joke. And so we're done reading, and I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, are they fucking with me? Seriously, I thought they might have been fucking with me. Right? And then one of the actors said, so what'd you think? And I am a straight shooter. Yeah. I'm nasty, but I'm honest. And it always seems to serve me well. And I said, do you want me to tell you the truth, what I think? And they looked at me like, yeah, of course. Want to hear what you think. And I said, well, in my opinion, I can't believe I did this. I'm an asshole. It was funereal. I said, as if at a funeral. I said it was funereal, and they looked at me. I thought they were going to hit me. And then they said, really? I said, that was so slow. I couldn't quite believe it. So I turned to the script super, and I said, out of curiosity, how long was that? And she said it was 4:12. And I said, 4:12. Okay. Now, of course, sitcom timing is quite different per page, but I know what 4 pages should look like, right? So anyway, so I said, guys, I'd like you to do an acting. I have no idea where I thought of this. Thank God I thought of this. And I said, I want to do an acting exercise. And they looked at me like, I'm teaching a beginning acting class. But I just had to shake them up.
Yeah.
We're so rooted in drama is spoken like this because it's dramatic. Oh my God, kill me. So, I'm the guy that walks out of movies because the pacing is too slow. I said, no, I'm serious. I'm weird.
I believe it.
Well, because it's like, if it's boring, it's boring. So I said to them, I said, I want to do an acting exercise. I said, I want you guys to read this scene as fast as you possibly can. And they said, well, what do you mean? You just want to pick up the pace? I said, no. It's just an acting exercise. I don't even care if you act. I just want to hear you guys read it as fast as you can read the words. Just please indulge me. I know it sounds crazy. Just indulge me. But I said, because in my mind, this scene is definitely under 3:20. It's definitely a minute faster. And they didn't like that because in their mind it was just math, right? But that's okay. But I'm telling how I think. And then, all right, fine, like that. Oh God, I could feel the tension. And so we did. They read it super fast as you can read. Right? Okay, fine. So then I turned to the girl. I said, I'm curious, how long was that? 3:12. 27% faster. That's a lot, dude. Right?
Yeah.
A minute out of 4 and 7. So anyway, and then I sat there and they didn't say anything. And to me, to be honest, that's what I think people talk like. Honestly, it felt to me alive.
Yeah.
It felt alive. It didn't feel like anything. Didn't feel pushed and I said to them, I said, how did that feel? I'm just curious. Nothing, none of them says a word. And then about 7 seconds later, one of them said, I think it was that kid that recently died from 90210. What was his name? Luke Perry?
Oh, okay.
Is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and he was and he said, It felt pretty good. And then as soon as he said that, all the other actors chimed in. It felt good. It felt alive. It was fun. I liked it. I swear to God. And I said to them, I said, okay, let's put it on its feet. Let's put it on its feet. I'll give you some start marks and let's shoot it. I did that for every scene for 8 days of shooting. By the end of the thing, these actors dug me. That's not what's important. What's important is I shook them. I shook 20 years of rules and regulations, and I shook out of them what's expected. Drama means slow. Right?
Yeah.
3 months later, I got a call from the same vice president at NBC and said, hey, Gil, we just finished the season, and we've all agreed that your episode by far was the best episode. It just had an energy to it that was really compelling. What did you do? Because it's noticeably different. And I said, I just had him talk faster. I would like to be like, some auteur director. But the truth of the matter is, I just had him talk faster. Because they weren't thinking, dude.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking. And because they weren't thinking, not only were they faster, their emotions, what they were delivering, was so much more honest.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much more honest.
I think that's such a wonderful story. I mean,
it's true.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, because you were diving into this like unknown in a lot of ways.
I was terrified.
That challenge, right? And that's something that like, I think when we get presented those challenges as actors to just speak faster, to get out of our heads, that's where a lot of the resistance comes from. It's this fear of like, but what if I don't do a good job? What if it's not good? What if it's not right? But really, like, the juicy stuff is when we can let all that go and just be relying on those instincts.
Oh my God, dude. I would hug you right now. No.
Do it. It'll be very...
It'll be awkward. Why are you thin? You're only like an eighth of an inch thin. But that's what I do in my workshops and my courses. Like my e-course, for example, and I don't want this to sound like it's a sales pitch, because I'm rich. I don't need my courses. They're so cheap. It's almost a joke. Because why are they cheap? Because I know actors don't have money. I mean, again, I've lost about $100,000 so far this year in breakthrough. Why? I have 14 people working for me. I got staff and I got this website designers and fucking social media people. But I believe in what I'm doing, because I do believe, I could be wrong, I believe in the next 2 years, this Gil Junger method, even though I don't call it that because that's a little insane, it's gonna people all over the world are gonna be buying this.
Yeah. Well, where can people find this? Because I think
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Right? Oh, you just.
But one of the of course I'll tell you. But one of the things that one of the 2 courses, only 2 courses, and then live workshop with me. Okay. But the first course is basically a 30-minute philosophy. It's kind of why I believe what I believe, and why it's so different than anything else, because it is, and why I think it works from an emotional standpoint, because my thinking with actors comes from understanding their brain. It doesn't come from cookie cutter, okay, you got to know all these lines, and then what's the most for? What do you want in the scene? What's your objective? What are you willing to give up to get it?
All these things that we never think about in life, right? But yet we're so conditioned to do that with all of our scene work.
You're very bright. I totally like you. You're very... No. Seriously, I'm not... This isn't a joke. You're just very smart. It's exactly what it is, dude. You're conditioned to think a certain way. You right off the bat, whether you know it or not, if you know you're reading for CSI Miami, I don't care. I don't know if that's still on the air or not. But automatically, whether you know it or not, you've already changed something in your brain. You say, oh, this is a drama. Oh, so I should act like this.
Yeah.
No. Nope. Do not. Make it compelling and honest, right from your life experience. It's not that hard. The biggest problem I've had, it's a perfect example, and of course I'll share the company information because I think I'm just so proud of it. I really am. I had a guy that took three works. Some people there are a few women that have taken my workshop every month for the last 2.5 years.
Wow.
Every single month, because they see it as their high-end acting class, which is cool.
Testament.
And actually, one of them just booked her first movie.
Wow, congratulations to her.
I'm so proud of her, so happy for her. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So this one guy, very good actor. Whew, he was good. He was in 3 months in a row. And at the end of the third month, the last day, I, of course, opened it up to any other final questions or whatever the fuck. And he said, Gil, can I say something? I said, of course, Cliff, what's up? And he said, I love this class, as you can tell, but I do have one complaint. And I'm like, okay. Because, dude, TV director, I've taken notes my whole life. It's like you're like a whipping boy as a TV director. All of a sudden, I will remember when I walked out of the set of 10 Things, everyone was treating me like the Lord. It was fantastic. Like, oh my God, I made every decision myself. I couldn't believe it. And then I went back to TV. Hey, scuzzball, move to the left. I'm like, but I'm the director. I don't give a fuck. Seriously. Yeah. Okay, but anyway. So he says, can I make one complaint? And I went, of course. And he said, I only have one problem with having attended 3 months of these workshops. What am I supposed to do to justify the $120,000 I spent at Yale Drama and the $30,000 I spent in acting classes? I have to unlearn all of that, Gil.
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. What a fucking compliment. And what does that guy do? We actually become friends. And what does he do? He runs the theater department at a major university in Texas. I didn't even know that. He runs the theater department, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, people get a little nervous. So anyway, very, very quickly, just business. The first e-course is called Foundations and Principles, and it's my philosophy. The second e-course is called it's called the e-course. Why? I'm a marketing genius. I was thinking Apple. Should I call it Apple or the e-course? That's really the name. It's the e-course. And what that is it took me 3.5 months to make this course. It is 10 episodes. And each episode is anywhere from 11 to 16 minutes, maybe 18 minutes at the most, right? And they are, to the best of my ability, the 10 best pieces of advice that I know will change an actor's audition like that. And from my 48 years. It's the 10 best pieces of advice, right? And it's called the e-course. I don't give a fuck how much a beginner is of anyone of your 81,000 followers, which is impressive, by the way. I don't care if they've never even booked a guest star role. If they take these 2 e-courses, their career will change. It just will. And I know it's a bold statement. And then again, it's not a sales pitch. I mean, if I was trying to do a sales pitch, I would be charging what so many of my actor friends told me to charge for these e-courses. And I'm just not doing that. I'm just not doing that. But anyway, here, let me show you a fun thing. And then I'll give you some information. But you're not drilling me with any questions, and I want to be drilled.
What I want to just say, though, is I love, I've not taken the course yet, but I love... kind of what you've talked about, because I think you're right. Like, so many acting courses are based on kind of this idea of lack, on like, you don't have enough, here's how we can fill you. And they kind of always want to instill that lack, because if they don't, then you might leave, right? Whereas it sounds like yours is so much more about empowering the artist.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've always treated actors, and it holds true for this breakthrough company. I have always treated actors the way I wished I was treated. Don't you like a little one pat on the back? Nice job. Yeah. That was a great idea. Something that simple can float a guy like you or me for the whole day.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit of recognition that what you're contributing is good.
Yeah.
It feels so fucking good. I mean, I've lived my whole life, I've felt like I'm a golden retriever. I'm just waiting for someone to pet me. You know, it's like, come on, man. Now, I also was blessed. My first boss, the first company my first job, I was with that company for 20 years.
Wow. And what was that?
With Thomas Harris Productions. I started as a errand boy.
Yeah.
Right out of college, 2 days after college. Errand boy. And I left an executive producer director.
I heard in another interview of yours, just kind of the tenacity that you brought to the work early on and throughout your career, and how that kind of was a big driving force in how you grew. Can you speak to that a little bit, why that's such an important quality in artists?
Oh, that's interesting. This is the positive side of thinking you're nothing. I was determined. Now, there is a positive side, because my insecurities, my belief, unfortunately, I'm not smart, I'm not that smart. I've always known I'm funny, and if I may, I've always known I'm charming. I know that sounds, but I've got that feedback for 69 years. I figure it's probably true. But I also, except for 8 years ago, until 8 years ago, I definitely thought I was going to be discovered as not being anything special, except that I'm charming. Right? That's a terrible feeling. So when I started working, and to this day, but it was fueled originally by fear that I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough, smart enough, and people were going to find out. So not only did I work crazy hard, I tried to do way more to prove that I was special. And yeah. And that also combined with the fact that I just love what I get to do. I know that sounds, like I'm on a talk show, but it's the truth. So I was I remember the first day I walked onto a sound stage and I saw all those lights, on a sitcom set, they're pre-written, I saw all those lights and I was like, what the fuck? And it was magic to me. Now, also, truth be told, I was given this extraordinary gift, because one of my two bosses, and I know I hate to say this because it's just not true anymore, but this was my truth. One of my two bosses really, really believed in me. Wow, I almost just started crying. But he was the first adult that I ever met that thought I was special. Yeah, so I'd never been treated that way.
Yeah.
And this is a boss. Of course my dad loved me and all that stuff, but he just said to me, like 2 weeks in, 2 weeks, he said, Gil, you're going to kill it in this business. He said, you have something you can't train. What's that? And he said, instincts. Your instincts are fucking incredible. He said, here's what I'm going to do with you. And I know. It was like a ginormous gift. I won the lottery. And he said, you can run this company one day. So what you're going to do is you're going to shadow me, and I'm going to teach you everything I know.
Wow.
And this is what he said to me. And he said, I'm not joking when I say shadow me. If you're more than 10 feet away from me, and I'm talking business, I'm going to be pissed. You will shadow me, and you're going to be in every meeting, every sweetening session, every mixing session, every scoring session, every note session with the actors, and I'm going to train you this business because eventually I want to retire, and you can fucking run this business. So he was training me to be a producer, and I always thought that's what I would be, a producer.
Yeah.
And the reason I started directing was I was giving so many notes, to directors on sitcoms.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why they didn't know that. Let me just rephrase. It seemed obvious to me that joke would work better in the two-shot as opposed to cutting back and forth. Right? Simple. Yeah. That's what I don't know why I thought that. Right? And then, or a note like, so I'd give that note. Or a note like, don't forget this was in the early 80s. Or a note like I remember specifically when we had some Playboy bunny on one of the shows, and she was supposed to play the dumb blonde, right? So that was what she played. And I said to the director, I said, I think it's so much more interesting instead of playing her the dumb blonde, which is a little like tired, right? Yeah. And it's like, come on, man. It's like, how many times have we seen that? Yeah. Thank you. Wouldn't it be interesting if she played innocent, but she always thought she was right, and she couldn't wait to share her wisdom? I said, isn't that more interesting? And he goes, let me try that. And the next day at rehearsal, people were cracking up, right? And when I did that, when I gave notes for a decade. It's not like I did this 2 notes. I gave notes for a decade, and then to be honest, I got frustrated. Those guys were making $45,000 a week. Yeah, back in the day.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sitcom money. Some made more, and I was making a quarter of that. Trust me, that's still stupid money. I was working on hit shows. I was working on big shows, The Golden Girls and shit like that. And I just thought, wait a minute, I seem to just gravitate towards that. And the actors actually said to me in private, I kind of like taking notes from you more than the director. You speak our language was a phrase I used to hear. So I shifted over to directing and haven't stopped. Let me just play this one little 1-minute thing.
If you want to learn what a director is looking for in an audition, shouldn't you learn it from a director?
It was one of the most influential and best courses that I've ever taken.
After taking a couple workshops at the Breakthrough Company, my career has taken off. An absolute gift.
It's a really special thing.
Gil helps you find exactly who you're supposed to be.
He encourages you to bring yourself to the scene.
Really helped me to understand
To make bold choices like you come in this.
It lets me twice.
This is a lifeline, and I really appreciate it.
Cool, huh?
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, you're sweet. It's a good 1 minute. They call it a splash video in the.
Yeah. It's almost like a little sizzle reel.
Yeah, it's this little tiny sizzle reel. Yeah. There you go.
So that's where people can find you. Now, is this a lot of what we've talked about in this, like, kind of finding your own authenticity, kind of getting away from the stories we've told ourselves? Is this kind of what you're going to be talking about on your speaking tour that's coming up?
Yeah, well, I talk about the first third of it is a little bit. It's more on what I first talked to you about the way your brain works.
Yeah.
And I do that so that people can go, well, I feel that way. Oh shit, this guy knows something. And then I talk about a little bit more about how, we're unfortunately blessed and cursed, but most people just think the cursed part is just the way it is. And I'm living proof to say, no, it doesn't have to be. Right? Because I want to share that gift. And then, but most of the people I'm talking to, and then sometimes if they're mostly actors, which they are, then I'll run scenes right with them right there. I'll pull people out of the audience and I'll run scenes, and they're like, what? Because I change their performance within 10 minutes dramatically.
That's amazing.
Dramatically.
And where can people find information on dates, on tickets?
My website. It was nice of you to ask all these things. It's all on my website, thebreakthroughco.com. But it's spelled, here.
Break a THRU, right?
THRU, thank you. Here, I can just put this up let me just reshare it. I can put this up on your screen and people could snap it. Hold on. Let me just do one little thing because I specifically asked them to do this. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, you can snap that QR code.
Yeah.
And that takes you right to the courses.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's cool. Or my Instagram. Let me see, how could I show what the Instagram is? Because it's called Breakthrough Company, but I don't know how to put it on the screen.
I think what I'll do is in post-production, I'll edit it in.
Oh, thank you. That'd be sweet. Yeah, because I'd love people to come to my Instagram, because I talk about a lot of stuff. There's no charge for anything. And I even share my morning pages. Do you know what morning pages are?
Yeah, Artist's Way, of course. I just finished a session of that like a month or two back with some friends. Yeah, I do some morning pages.
Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for you. Well, I started doing them a few years ago, actually 7. And it is one of the most grounding, elevating, calming exercises I've ever done. And then what I realized, because when I'd share about it in my workshops, people go, oh, that sounds amazing. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to be totally vulnerable. And so every Friday, I share one of my own personal morning pages.
Wow.
And the reason I'm doing that is so that everyone knows how damaged I am. No, it's because I think they think maybe if Gil's brave enough to do this to the world, maybe I can do it. Not to the world, it's because it's meant to be for yourself. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, so many people have emailed me. Oh my God, I started doing the morning pages. It's incredible. Because what it does, if you do it in the morning, and I know you know this, it quiets all that bullshit.
Yeah.
It takes all of that noise and puts it away for a little bit so you can create from pure.
Yeah.
No, it's a gift. The morning pages.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think any way that we can try to cultivate levels of silence. There's some great philosopher who talks about even finding the silence in between noise. Like even right now as I'm talking, there's a silence that's underneath it at all times. That's so beautiful to tap into. But I want to talk about 10 things because we have this 25th anniversary coming up this
you're sweet.
weekend. Incredible movie. So many amazing performers. I mean, we talked about the Julia Stiles monologue that's later in the film that's just iconic. Something I want to ask about is, I mean, me and so many actors and actresses, revere Heath Ledger as a performer, as a person. What was it like working with him?
I loved working with him. I'll tell you an interesting story about when I cast him, and then I'll tell you about working with him. I was 3 weeks out, and I didn't have the guy. 3 weeks, not 3 months. I was 3 weeks out. And this is my first movie. Mm-hmm. And the producer is now a very big producer who's one of my best friends, Andrew Lazar. Mm-hmm. And he was saying to me, he says, look, I don't want you to settle. I want you to find the guy that's right for you. But he said, I just want you to know if Disney decides to push, there's a chance the movie will never get made. And he said, I'm not telling you that. He said, I'll fight for you. I believe in you. I believe in the movie. That's why I'm producing it. But you really don't want to push because you lose your crew, you lose this, you lose that. Anyway, so I know the numbers. I had read 253 guys.
Wow.
Okay? Now, if I read 253, That means Marcia Ross, who was the head of casting for Disney, read 2,500. No, that's what she told me, because she told me she sent me about 1 in 10 of the self-tapes.
Wow.
People that, well, there weren't even self-tapes then. It was people that just came in to read. Poor woman. So she read 2,500 guys. Of those, there were 10 that that's right, that she videotaped all of them. And then the 1 out of 10, she would send me to see if I was interested. That's what it was. And so here I am, 253 in. And, I'd seen some good guys. But no one that just made me go, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. Again, remember what I said earlier? I never go to a casting session with an idea of what I want. I just know, I just trust my chest. I feel it in my chest, and that's it. Where that confidence comes from, I have no idea. But it does. So anyway, so we're in another one of these long casting sessions, which I hate. I hate that. I don't like long casting. I like short casting sessions so I can fully focus on whoever's reading, and I give them the benefit and go. Anyway, so it's one of these long ones because we're in a little bit of a danger zone. And then she said, after some guy, do you want to take a break or keep going? I said, let's just keep going. So, so it was me and a total of 5 women in the room, one of which was Marcia Ross, the head of casting at Disney. Not a small job. And she said, okay, let's bring in the next guy. And then she looks at me because I really liked her. She was such a straight shooter. And she wouldn't settle either. There were people, Marcia was so amazing that there were people that I'd read and I'd go, geez, that guy was good. Holy shit, I think that's the guy. And she says, I think we can do better. Hold on. Yeah, whereas most casting directors, and I shouldn't say most because that's a little disparaging, but they like to get the job done. They like to get it booked and move on to the next one. Yeah, and I understand that, So anyway, so she says, okay, this next guy, I have no idea who he is. She said, honestly, it's a favor for an agent who I really like. And he's got great taste. And he called me and said, listen, I've got this guy coming into town. Could you please just have him read for the director? This guy he's special. And and she told me all this. And she said, Gil, so if you hate this guy within a nanosecond, you don't have to read all the sides. And don't blame me. So it's what she was saying. Yeah. I really liked, because that was because, in every business, there's these favors. It's someone's cousin, that's the carpenter. Yeah, he falls off the roof and he sues you. So anyway, So I said, all right, bring him in. All right. So one of the women opens the door, and in walks Heath. And she said, that's the director, Gil Junger, on the other side of the room. And this is the God's honest truth. Heath took about 4 steps walking across this big room, this big casting room, towards me. And I swear on my parents' life, this is what I thought. If this fucker can read English, I'm going to cast him. No. I mean it.
Yeah.
That was the actual thought. If this fucker can read English, because I thought I can get it out of whoever the hell this guy is. So we read. There were 10 pages of sides, or 10 sides. I don't know how you say it. And we finished the first page. And I said, okay, that's good. Let's put the sides down. Woo! His face went pure white. I said, no. I said, this is a good thing. I said, I know exactly what I'm doing. And this is just trust me, this is a positive thing because you can obviously act. I said, all I want to do with you now is let's just do an improv. And he went, okay. He was so nervous. Well, because his first time in America, he's for a Disney movie, and this weird director, he's like, I don't know. So anyway, so we did it, but the reason I wanted to do an improv, I just wanted to see how quick his mind was. I just wanted to see how he could go, right? Because then that would tell me how he could take direction, at least in my mind. So anyway, and also if he had any funny in him, because I was trying to set him up to be funny. So I did an improv with him for 30, 40 seconds. And I said, okay, we're good. And he looked so confused. He said, that's it. We're done. And I said, yeah. And again, he was nervous, and of course I wanted him to feel good. So I said, look, again, I know what I'm doing, how and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I just want to say to you, you are going to have a big career. And I said, and I don't know if it's going to be this movie or another movie, but I want to work with you. That's what I said right to him. He said, really? I said, really? And he shook my hand like that, and he said, thank you so much. He was very polite. And then he leaves. And all the women stood up, right? So there's 5 women standing, I'm standing, Heath is standing, and he leaves. The instant the door closed, and this is no exaggeration, I turned to the women in the room and I said the following: ladies, I have never wanted to sleep with a man. No, I'm not joking. I said, but if I did sleep with a man, that would be the man. Cast him immediately. That was it. He was cast before he got to his car.
Wow.
Yeah, instantly. Now, why? You're going to ask me why.
Yeah.
He just showed who he was. There was no pretense. Just the way he walked across the room, he was so confident. And I don't mean arrogant. I don't mean thinking he's cool shit. There was just a feeling from him that this is who I am. I hope you like what I'm doing. That was it. There was just a sense about him. It's that crazy star quality that few people have, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of great actors, but it was just, I was just drawn to him. I mean, I thought he was one of the sexier humans I've ever seen, but it's also because of his, I don't know, there was just an inner confidence, and there was no and I guarantee you one thing, which is something I preach all the time in my classes and my e-courses. I tell actors, first thing to tell them to do is cross off all the stage directions. Every fucking one. I don't want you to read any of that shit. And you know what? When the casting associate writes, he's a complicated man, and he's very bright, and he's very handsome. His name is Justin, and he's got a beard and a thing, and he's very good looking, and he has, what do you have, blue eyes? And he says, of course you got blue eyes.
Bluish green, yeah.
Bluish green! It's not even just
Come on. I'm insulted. We're stopping the interview now. It's the greenish blue, in fact.
Hysterical. But this is what, how many times, for real, have you read this in the breakdown? The casting, the breakdown they call it. A handsome guy, rough around the edges, very masculine, but you can tell behind his beautiful eyes that there is a sadness which is that it is ever present. Have you ever read that?
Oh yeah.
How the fuck do you play that? No, seriously, I'm not joking. That's how they describe it. It's usually about women in that regard. Beautiful girl with chiseled features, and she's just a beautiful thing, and with flowing hair. And but there's this behind her beautiful blue eyes. There's a sadness. There's a loneliness that she's just not happy. Right? I read this. Throw that away. Throw away the character description. Why? Because I want to see you. All I want to know is how Justin, here's how easy it is if you take on my thinking, my talk, my approach. It's 3 steps. And you're going to think I'm a lunatic, and then we'll be done. Step 1, you cross off all the stage directions. You cross off all the stage directions that infer an attitude or a behavior. If it's just physical, cross the room, that's no reason to cross. But if it says she tentatively crosses the room because she's nervous, cross that shit off. Because it's telling you, be nervous and be tentative. So everyone's going to play it nervous and tentative. That's how actors are, right?
Yeah.
So you cross off the stage directions and infer a thing. Second step, you cross off all the parentheticals. Angry, seething, laughter, trying not to cry, all those things under the name, the character name.
Yeah.
So that. Third thing, believe it or not, cross off all punctuation except for periods. All punctuations. Haven't you read in scripts? Question mark, exclamation.
Oh,
question,
yeah.
And sometimes question mark, 2 exclamations. Why did you do that? Every actor reads it that way because they see a question mark and then they see the exclamation. So this is a big question. Or if you see 3 exclamations, you yell that line.
Of course.
Everyone does. Okay. So you cross all those things off. This is Caitlin, my assistant, more than an assistant, who set this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And I guarantee she's saying, how was it? And I said, I'm still talking to this dude. I'm trying to get a free space ticket and send him.
And we'll see if I dole that out to you.
Maybe we will. Hey, trust me. I think you want to give me the ticket because if you ever read for me and you don't give me the ticket, I'm very vengeful.
It's the power play I hold over you. I'm like, come on, give me the roll. I'll give you the ticket.
We'll beg for food or whatever that. Those guys on the street. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so you cross off all that shit.
Yeah.
You throw out the casting breakdown. All of those things, unfortunately, are going to impact you whether you're a brilliant actor or a beginning actor. You cross all that shit off. Then, you ready? How easy this can be? Then you read the scene for the first time. For the first time. You have not read it yet. Don't read it. Then you read the scene for the very first time. Let's just say it's 1 page to make it simple.
Sure.
Okay? 1 page scene. Boom. You cross all the shit off. You throw out the thing. And then you read it for the very first time. Right? And then you read the scene. And here's your third and final step, young man. Then you ask yourself this. Justin, with the blue-green eyes, how would you be if you were in that situation? Seriously.
Yeah.
That's it. Then learn the lines. That's it. If you spend more than 45 minutes shooting a self-tape, having worked with me, you're doing something horribly wrong. Because all you're doing is thinking and analyzing. Now, let me...
Yeah.
But I know the questions, but I wish I could hear the people, the 81,000 people. No, I hope a lot of them listen to this because I'm passionate about what I'm saying. And I'm coming from a wealth of knowledge from an actual working director, not some guy that wants to be. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, now you're thinking, a lot of people are thinking, well, wait, what's the character? That's the whole point, dude. There is no character. There is no character. It's all made up by some writer's imagination. There's no real character. He doesn't have an object. It's just words. It's just letters, right? It's your job in Gil Junger land. It's your job to show me who the character is. It'll guarantee, and I know it sounds crazy, but it'll guarantee you 2 things. Ready? Okay, first of all, 9 out of 10 actors sound the same in an audition. I'm sorry, but it's true. They all sound the same. Ever since the very first casting session I went in when I was 21. I was like, that's weird, they all sound the same. Why? Because they're all fear-based, they're all taught the same thing. I don't give a fuck if it's Stanislavski or Meisner or whoever it is. I mean, some are better than others. They're all teaching the same thing. Here is your side, and you think, and you analyze, and you create substitutions, and you write down behavior ideas, and the thing at the moment before, what I want from the scene, what's my objective, and you spend 3 hours doing this, and maybe you even wear the tattoos to live the character. How many times have you been told to live the character?
Oh my gosh, I used to be trained so deeply in method. I mean, it was
so
very
again, let me just say, look, whatever works for you, great. This is my own approach that I happen to know has worked for thousands of actors. Okay, fine. So you throw out the thing, you read it for the first time, and then you say to yourself, like I would say, Gil, what would you do? if you had cooked dinner for your girlfriend and you're kind of suspicious that she's fooling around and she comes home 3 hours late. Well, you know the first line in the scene, it's going to say right under in parenthetical, yelling, furious, it's going to say. But I wouldn't be furious.
Yeah.
Gil Junger, I'm not, you might be, some other guy might fucking clock her. But Gil Junger, if she came home, first of all, I'd be hurt. I'd be sad, right? But I would want to believe, this is just me, Gil Junger, not an actor. Mm-hmm. I would want to believe that the woman I've been living with for a year, who I love, I would want to believe that she's going to come clean. Mm-hmm. Because I am a man who will forgive. If someone takes responsibility for their actions and sincerely repents what they did, I mean, really feels badly, right? And they come clean, they tell the truth. I am so good with forgiveness because I've had so many second chances. It's a joke. I just believe in people. And so so I would want to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I wouldn't want her to be uncomfortable, because if she's uncomfortable, she'll be defensive and be nervous. Mm-hmm. But if I create a situation where she feels loved, and even though the lines in the scene, instead of saying, "Where have you been?" I would say, Gil Junger, "Sweetie, where you been?" Yeah. That's just who I am. Mm-hmm. Right? And I would hope that she would come clean. And then if after the dinner she's not coming clean, and I ask a couple gentle questions that kind of trap her. Not that I'm nasty that way, but I've given her enough opportunities, and she's obviously lying. Then I would have to say, "Look, I know that you were with so and so at his apartment, and you weren't at the library, and you weren't here, and we're done. I'm really, really sorry." That's who I am, right? So what does that do? If you take that crazy 1, 2, 3 steps ahead, crossing off, read it for the first time, ask yourself how you'd behave. It guarantees 2 things. 1, you will not sound like all the other actors. You will absolutely stand out and therefore get my attention. Mm-hmm. 2, more importantly, you have a great chance of delivering an authentic performance. Because you're just being you. Yeah. And what does authenticity do for a director like me? Draws me right in. Boom. Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, like there's a reason that, Shakespeare has persisted for so long. It's because we want to see something. We want to see certain actors try to play Hamlet. I want to see Andrew Scott's heart through Hamlet. I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch's heart through Hamlet. We want to see these beautiful people be themselves authentically, just like with this circumstance.
Yep. I look for the same thing. But you're a very sophisticated actor. And no, you are. That's not a joke. I think your eyes are stupid looking. You look like David Bowie times 5.
That's too kind.
But yeah. But the funny thing is, when people start working with me and they go through the program, then they start taking workshop after workshop, because a lot of them repeat, they're so nervous to hand in a self-tape. Because, they said, well, she's going to reject it. Yeah. Who, what? The casting director, it says to cry, and I don't cry. She's going to be, what the fuck? Right? How can I possibly do this? It says in the script, that's what they want to see. And I'm going to say, no, they don't want to see that. And I'm a goddamn director for real. Yeah. And I never know what I want to see. I want you to show me an honest, right? And then I say to them, and then they get nervous. They say, I can't hand this in. I'm too nervous. And I get it all the time. And then I say to them, here's what you're going to do then. You're going to send in 2 versions. You're going to send in 2 versions. And the first version is yours. Your truth. Your thing, and the lower right-hand corner, you're going to put VS1. What does the VS1 do? It lets them know there's another version. So if they don't understand what you're doing, if they don't really know how to direct, which, okay, a lot of them don't, they can just jump to the second, and in the second take, you do everything they ask for, just like everyone else. But more than likely, knowing that there's going to be two versions, it lowers their guard.
Yeah.
Right? It allows them to go, all right, let's see what this guy's got. He's got two different versions. And the first one, they might go, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It just stands out, right? It's different than
it will definitely
tapes they've seen.
It's the difference between me sitting in my chair for the 16th guy reading the exact same line and like, hey, good, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it, right? And then then Justin walks in, and I'm like this. Oh, that's good. I mean, I know I hate to say this, but it's true. I know within 15 seconds.
Yeah.
At the most. In 15 seconds, I know you're a real grounded actor or you're not. And most actors aren't, because I see them working, because I see them thinking, because that's what they're trained to do. You can't analyze your way into creative brilliance. It's not planned. It flows. And bless you if you get to the place where you can unlock all of those filters and whoop, and then bang.
Yeah. And
you do what Julia Stiles did. Or I've worked with this actor a few times, Tom Wilkinson, who died about a year ago. That guy, unbelievable. I read him. He's a London-based, well, he died last year. I read him for the co-lead in a movie I did with Martin Lawrence called Black Knight. And he was the grounding element in the whole movie. And he was meant to play...
We'll wrap this up shortly, I promise.
Okay. No, fine. I'm done. But anyway, it was fascinating. You'd really appreciate this. So, he had done the Rush Hour movies, of course, and he's been nominated for 3 Academy Awards and 5 BAFTAs. Come on. He's a motherfucker. And so I wanted him because I needed a grounded knight, a knight meaning the British, but he had fallen from grace. That was the character, right? Uh-huh. And Martin was supposed to bring back the fire within him. And okay, fine. So I wanted him, and I thought, you know what? Fuck it. This is a big, expensive movie. Let me go for the best, right? So I called his agent, and they said, "Oh no, he'd love to meet. Send the script, and then let me, he'll let me know. And then if he likes the script, come on over to London and take a meeting." And the agent said, "And by the way, but Gil, do not ask him to read. He's way beyond that. You can offer him the part. What's the phrasing? Offer him the part." But it's something determined on the creative meeting. But we need to take a creative meeting, meaning he can get out or I can get out because we don't like each other, something like that.
Gotcha.
It's based on the creative meeting. That's what they determine. He said, yeah, but it's offer only. There's plenty of people that are offer only. Good for them. And no one's going to ask Chris Hemsworth to read.
Yeah.
So fine, I said, okay. So next day, call. He likes the script. He's willing to meet. Great. Literally 2 days later, I hop on the plane to talk this man into it. I'm so excited. And meet with him. First of all, he's 6'3" to begin with. So I'm like, holy fuck. So right off the bat, he's like a little imposing, right?
Yeah.
And very British and very proper and just deep voice. Like you. He's got a voice like you and everything. Anyway, so we're just talking for just a chit-chat, the bullshit chit-chat, right? And I said, "Tom, can I ask you something I'm not supposed to ask you?" And he said, "Of course, what?" I said, "Would you consider reading?" He said, "Of course I would. What are you talking about? You want to hire me? How would you know if I can do it or not?" And I said, "Well, your agent said no fucking way to ask you." I said, "But this is like a big movie for me, and I know how good you are, but I just need to know in my heart that you're the lead. You're the grounding element of the whole film." And he said, "Oh, God, I don't know why my agent said that. He's an asshole. Here, what do you want to read?" No, that's what he said to me. So I gave him a copy of the script, and I had, of course, a copy. And I said, "Let's read scene 63." And it was a very powerful, where you can see his early strength emerging through the rubble of his life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. He no like read it a few times. So I just give it to him. And he says, you just wanted to read? I go, yeah. So, like this, I read the stage direction, and a lot of it was a monologue. And I just read the stage direct. And Justin, it was unbelievable. I had chills. Because he was just reading. He wasn't acting. He was just reading. It was so grounded. It was so real. And I said, he didn't even finish the page. I said, okay, Tom, stop. This is your part if you want it. I said, you are so fucking grounded. I said, I said to him, you're like screwed into a ground, like a pillar. I mean, it's like you're so screwed into the ground. He said, well, I'm just reading. And then when, and I was lucky enough to work with him on 2 movies. Afterwards, we did a second one after that together. And that's just how he performs. He's not working at all.
Yeah.
Not one note that feels false or exaggerated or he's trying too hard. Because he just knows that he just has a presence and just be Tom. Unbelievably powerful. That was a beautiful experience for me.
And I think it's really telling too, because we talked so much about how actors will do all this work on their audition sides. We'll be spending like hours on audition sides over 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just this fear that like acting has to be this hard work. We're all built up on the stories of Brando and James Dean and
yes,
to be so method and like not sleep for days,
Yes.
So when acting becomes more easy, when you're flowing, that can feel so alien to a lot of us, where we're like, this must not be good.
Oh my God, it's like you're eavesdropping on all of my workshops. People say to me, they do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's funny. And by the way, don't forget to pick up that sweater on the floor. That'd be good, right? All of a sudden, we're in the Twilight Zone. People often say, they do the first pass, and then I give notes, and then they do the second pass, and it's fantastic, or noticeably better, right? And sometimes it's fucking fantastic. And I say, I always ask them, how'd that feel? Meaning, going from step 1 to step 2, read 1 to read 2, and half the time it felt like me. I didn't feel like I was acting. Yes, and I also have this comment a lot. Wait a minute, it's not supposed to be that easy. No, seriously, that's what they say.
Yeah, no, I've heard it.
It can be, but it can be because it's not just me. It's the world has taught actors. Now, granted, the method actor people, the Meisner people, whatever it is, if it works for you, great. But my teaching, if you will, and that even feels weird to say, is what I'm really doing is I'm really coming from my life experience 8 years ago, knowing that I know how you feel. I do, right? And saying to you, you're so much better than what you think you are. Because you are. Just imagine in life, not even in acting, just in life, if you always came from love instead of from fear.
Yeah. I suppose shifting those mindsets about love and abundance being the thing that's driving us.
Totally.
Well, Gil, I could talk to you. We could just live on this podcast, and I would just. That's how we would die. We would just die doing this podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great. I have a feeling I'd die first.
But you've been so wonderful to have. I really appreciate all of your insights on acting, on the business. We have Breakthrough that you can find Gil on. If you have time to go check out the 25th anniversary of 10 Things I Hate About You. It's Saturday.
Griffith. Go to my Instagram. There's all kinds of ads for it.
Yeah.
It's done by Street Food Cinema, and it's going to be huge. 1,500 people, food trucks everywhere, a live band, and I'm going to do a little Q&A before it, and then you get to see the movie that you like. And it's really going to be fun. I'm very excited for the event. Saturday at the Autry Museum in Griffith Park. Street Food Cinema.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks again.